Yes, yes, yes. It's all about the hopeful hollow. Hopeful hollow. These are the last days. We have to prepare people for what is coming. What is ahead of us? We know we can get hopeful hollow from the book of Daniel, chapter 12, from verse 13. You can know why Daniel was shown a vision. Daniel was a man who was loved by God. He was a man who was loved by God and many things. He knew so many things. Yes, from Mark chapter 13, 14 to 19. What do you understand by the whole floor? It will be a day which no one would like to remember. There's nothing compared to the past years. That will be the beginning of what we are going to encounter these last days. People will experience danger in all dimensions. And this one is to occur in Jerusalem, Judea. When those days are near, it is better for people in those areas to start freeing, moving away from those places, because we know the work of the enemy. Those days, it will happen in the Holy of the Holiest. We know the temple of God. It was located in Jerusalem. First of all, we know it was built by King Solomon. And just the way it was built by King Solomon. The dimensions, all the measurements were given. It was built just the way God wanted it to be built. But we know it was destroyed the first time because of there are those people. It was destroyed by there's this man who was called Antiochus Epiphanes. That was a short time dissolution, and how it was. We know the second one, it was done by Roman commander known as Titus, 70 AD. 70 AD. And we know what it happened. If you look at the book of Daniel, you are going to get a lot of information. We know that the angels, that time of the Roman commander, what he did to the Jews, it was time for the Passover. He let them, many of them, to go and do the Passover. The moment there were so many, they were more concerned about the sacrifice of God. He didn't let anyone out. He killed all of them. It was awful. Over 1.1 million people died within a day. Heaps of people who were dead were there. And they were going to offer God the sacrifice. That's why it's called the abomination of desolation. Abomination of desolation. That is how it happened. And to make the matter worse, the soldiers, they carried their idols from where they were. They brought them into that Jerusalem. We know Jerusalem, we know the city, the temple, the sacrifice will all be defiled by those idolatrous people. That's why it's called abomination of desolation. That's why we are supposed to keep ourselves ready for anything. Ready for anything. We are supposed to be obedient, faithful up to the last minute. We are supposed to, the moment we see such things happening, we know the second coming of Jesus will be at hand. When we will see how Judea will be, things will happen there. Because we are told Those who those who are in Judea must run away to the hills. That time, whoever will be in Judea, those sides of Jerusalem, they must run for their lives. Someone who is on top of the house must not lose time by going down into the house to get anything along. Some things which will be happening will be awful. We know that time, the Antichrist, the small horn which will appear at the small horn is about the Antichrist. The small horn is all about the Antichrist. And the Antichrist will go to the Jerusalem, the city of Holy of Holies. That is how he will be doing his abomination of desolation. The moment he goes there with his idols. Abomination is all about idols. Desolation is more about destruction. The moment he goes there with his idols and starting destroying people, that is what is called abomination of desolation. And we know for one, God is against the idols. Idols with God does not cope. Those are two different things, because we know idols is all about the enemy, the devil. The devil is using people by using the idols. Someone who is in the field must not go back to his house for a clock. How terrible it will be in those days for women who are pregnant, for mothers with little babies. Pray to God that these things will not happen in the winter, for the trouble of those days will be far worse than any the world has ever known from the very beginning when God created the world until the present time. Nor will there be anything like it again. You've heard. It will be the trouble of those times. There's nothing worse which has ever happened since the beginning, since God created everything. That will be the time. Things all over the world. People will shake. People will tremble. People will cry, will weep, because of what will be happening and what will happen. That's why these are the last days we are supposed to prepare ourselves. We know already they have planned their games. We know the enemy is planning his games. He's continuing with his plan. You're supposed to be vigilant, not to be deceived. Many will be deceived. We know many will be deceived unless you stay with the word of God. You are supposed to be concentrated with the word of God. You are supposed to be firm with the word of God. Your foundation should be unshakable. That when the enemy is doing such things, you are able to defend yourself. You are able to stand firm and you are unshakable. That is all about the hope hollow. It will happen, but we have to stand firm. We have to prepare ourselves for the coming. For the coming, we have to make ourselves acquainted with what is ahead of us. We know we have to be prepared. That's why Jesus told us we are supposed to prepare for that day. He has already hinted people to be prepared, not for it to come as if we are not aware. Already we know what is happening all over the world. We are supposed to be prepared. Anything which comes on the way, whatever comes anytime, we know the schemes of the enemy. We know the plans of the enemy, and we are able not to be tricked by the enemy, because we know the enemy is very cunning, is very tricky, but already his plans have been exposed. Be watchful. Thank you.